Hello everybody, welcome to this reading. This is a very special and interesting reading. I've definitely never done anything like this before, but I recently was gifted this yoga deck from my Amazon wish list, and I wanted this deck. It was on my wish list because I've been trying to incorporate more yoga into my life, and I felt like this deck would really help me to approach yoga in a less intimidating sort of way, you know, because yoga doesn't have to be like an hour-long sweat session. It can just be, hey, let's get, let's do a few little poses here, maybe do some breathing techniques or a little bit of meditation along with it. It doesn't have to be so intimidating. So it's been really helpful to me, and I thought that I would pass this along and see if it is also helpful to any of you guys. Another reason why I wanted to do this particular type of reading as a pick a card is because a couple of years ago, my guides suggested for me to get into bow pose specifically, a specific pose, the bow pose, before I sent someone a message that I was going to be sending to them. So I can only assume that they felt like there was something about getting into this physical alignment that would maybe assist me in communicating myself with greater clarity or something along those lines, or just to become calmer before I sent the message. I don't know if it was a successful message anyway, but who knows? It might have been a total shit show if I hadn't done bow pose first. So, but it just, it makes me think about how we recognize that there is a connection between mind, body, and spirit, but I feel like that connection is so much more profound than what we can really see in our human understanding of things. And so in addition to just giving you a little bit of a mini yoga routine here, at the end of the reading, I'm also going to be using tarot to ask your guides, what is the mind, body, spirit benefit for you of this particular set of poses that they are suggesting for you. All right, so I hope that all makes sense. You have 4 options which are visible here in front of you. We have the wheel card representing option number 1, the moon representing option number 2, the Empress representing option number 3, and option number 4 is represented by the death card. So how many of you are going to be bold enough to choose the death option? Does that mean this yoga routine is going to kill you? I don't know, because I don't remember which stack is which. I put the stacks down, and then I chose the yoga cards, or the tarot cards, to go on top. So we'll see. None of these routines is really a killer routine, I don't think, but just a little something that you might want to do just for a little boost of self-care. I think we can all do with some of that right now and always. So whenever you have chosen your option or options, use those timestamps below, and I'll see you there. Hello to everybody who chose reading number 1, which was represented by the Wheel of Fortune card. So let's see. Now I let Spirit choose the cards from this deck, just as I normally would pull from a tarot or an oracle deck, but then I'm arranging them in the position that I would put them in if I were doing this, which is this position. And yours came up with a type of breath as well that you could do. And I would put this probably at the beginning here, actually. So this is a breath work that you can do. Let me figure out how to put this. Okay. All right, so let's just go through it, and I'll kind of explain each of these cards. Of course, you could always pause it if you want, if you already kind of know what these are, and just go ahead and do it. But let me explain bellows breath first of all. So for bellows breath, you're going to be standing with feet shoulder width apart. Let's see if you can see this here. Your arms are going to be held straight in front, palms together at chest height, shoulders down away from your ears. So basically, your arms are going to be out like this. You're going to open your mouth and inhale as you fling your arms open and back. bending the wrists so that your fingertips point away from you, and lift your chin. So you're just going to really open yourself up like a bellow, starting like this, and then just fling your arms out to each side with the fingertips pointing back behind you as you inhale. And then lift your chin. Exhale completely as you tuck your chin and tailbone, round your back, and bend at your waist and knees. Then bring your hands together in front of your chest. Repeat 12 times, or I would say just repeat it as often as it feels good. So you're just really like opening yourself up on the inhale, and then, you know, like a bellow that's used to squeeze air to stoke a fire, you're going to exhale and bring yourself down back into this posture with your chin tucked and all of that. And the affirmation here, because this deck also recognizes this connection between mind, body, and spirit. It says, I open myself completely to the fullness of life. So the benefit of this breath is about opening you up to the fullness of life. Physically, it says it relieves tension in the spine, it opens the chest, and mentally, it promotes a sense of well-being and fulfillment. So I suggest doing this at the beginning because you're already going to be in a standing posture when you do this. And the first yoga pose that we have here is also a standing posture, and it is called Yoga Mudra, symbol of yoga. It doesn't have a Sanskrit word here. Most of the other ones do have the Sanskrit name as well. But this is very self-explanatory. You're going to be standing like this with your hands clasped behind you, fingers interlocked, and then you're going to bend over and bring your arms up overhead and allow them to kind of gently fall forward. Now, when I've done this, I will just say from my experience, you have to be a little bit careful because the weight of your arms can pull your arms down maybe a little bit more than is comfortable if you're not careful. So just very slowly allow yourself to get into this move so you don't end up pulling your arm out of socket. You know, that's not going to be very pleasant. Okay. And so you're going to hold the pose when you get down like this. Hold the pose for 6 counts or whatever feels comfortable. On an inhalation, rise slowly, letting your arms fall back gently, head up, and release your hands. So that's all that this is. If it feels really good, you might want to do it more than once. And the affirmation here is, I release all obstacles to full and free expression. So it's a releasing all obstacles. Benefits, it loosens the shoulders, arms, and spine. But again, you want to be careful that you don't loosen your shoulder too much. It stretches the back of the thighs. Always nice if you're like me and you get a lot of tightness in your legs. It improves posture and back problems. Wonderful. Also, if you're like me and you have crappy posture. It says, note, Yoga Mudra is a symbolic gesture of yoga in which the head surrenders to the heart. Oh, interesting. So yes, you know, maybe part of the reason why you've been asked to do this sequence, and in particular this pose, is you might have been approaching life a little bit too much from your head, and this could just serve to balance that out a bit. So next we have triangle and then mountain, or not mountain, warrior. And actually, you know, when Spirit chose these cards, they didn't choose triangle. However, I decided to go ahead and add it in, and I'll explain why. Because for people who aren't familiar with warrior pose, if you've ever done yoga, you probably have done warrior because it is one of the more common poses. But just for anyone who hasn't, they, you know, their instructions for explaining, you can kind of see by the visual, but I feel like this is a little bit difficult to draw. And it says, follow the directions through figure 1 for triangle pose, which is card 2, triangle pose, figure 1, because that's where you're going to start out at before you get into the warrior stance. You'll be in this beginning portion of triangle pose, and then you'll bend your knee so that it's aligned above your heel. But, you know, often triangle pose and warrior are done back to back. And so I think if you want to do triangle pose first, and then get back up into this figure 1 position, and then go into warrior, then that would be great, because triangle is sort of like, you know, you're kind of taking a few steps into this movement, and then with warrior, you're just going deeper and fuller into it. So they really do work together. So I think that the imagery here for triangle pose describes, or, you know, it shows pretty well what you're meant to do. You know, you stand like this with your arms out, and then you look with your vision over one of your arms, and then lean that arm down, touch your calf, or whatever feels comfortable, but you're going to keep your legs more or less straight and raise this arm in the air. If you feel comfortable doing that, you can look up at the hand that's raised. If that feels like it's going to make you fall over because it takes you too much out of your balance, just do what feels safe and natural and comfortable for you. And that's true of any pose, because there are no two human bodies that are shaped exactly the same or that have the same degree of flexibility or balance or strength or endurance or whatever. So you're not meant to be doing anything that's painful or dangerous to you. This is meant to support you. It's an act of self-care. It's an act of self-love as well. So that's what you'll be doing there. And then, of course, you would do it on the other side. So you would get back to this position, look over this hand, and then lean this hand down. All right. And then for warrior, you would get back into this initial position, and then you would bend your knee as you're looking over this arm so that your knee is aligned over your heel. And then, of course, you're going to bend down again to the degree that you're comfortable with your other arm up, looking up towards that hand if you want to. Now, if this feels too much to reach down this far, what I sometimes do is I'll just bend my arm and rest my elbow here on the top of my knee, because that feels more stable and supportive. So if you have difficulty with flexibility and or balance, that might be a more comfortable way. But always feel free to sort of make the pose work for you. Make adjustments as you need. Now this last one, I will just be honest, I can't do this at all, but that's okay. You're doing, you know, you do what you can. So when I've pulled this card for myself, like I can't even do this first part of it. Like I can't get my butt off of the ground or my back off the ground the way that they are here. So what I do is I'll put a pillow underneath my butt to sort of raise it up. And then like I try to prop myself up a little bit more with my hands as I can. It doesn't really get me very far. And I'll bend my knees and then I'll straighten my legs. But I'm not really raised off of the floor like he is here. And that's okay. And some of you, you'll be able to do this perfectly just as it's shown here. And that will be great. And you should be very proud of yourself. And it'll feel wonderful to get in that position. But even for me, just laying with my legs extended like this, even though my back isn't up like his is, it still feels really good on my legs. And so I still appreciate that movement. The affirmation for this one is, my body is a glorious work of wonder. And that's true, like I said, even if you can't really do this the way that it's meant to be done. Do what works for you. You know, lay on the ground, stick your legs up in the air, you know, or whatever feels right to do. If you don't want to do this one at all, then that's fine too. Your body is still a glorious work of wonder either way. It also improves blood flow to the brain, nourishes the complexion, that's interesting, stimulates the thyroid, and promotes calm and serenity. It says to skip this pose if you have thyroid problems, high blood pressure, or glaucoma. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. I don't think I looked at the affirmations on these. For triangle, the affirmation is, I am balanced and secure, open to new possibilities. It improves flexibility of the torso, strengthens the feet, ankles, and legs, elongates the spine, opens the hip area, and increases endurance and stamina. For warrior, I am confident and focused, drawing on my inner strength. I feel like this feels like bravery as well to me, like it aligns you with your courage. It improves flexibility of the torso, strengthens feet, ankles, knees, and legs, elongates the spine, opens the hip area, increases endurance and stamina. Basically the same as triangle pose. So that's your routine here. And so you can pause and do that now if you want or whatever. But I'm also going to give you a little bit of a message using the tarot. The card that you pulled initially was the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like, you know, initially what this sequence of poses is meant to bring you in this breath work is just feeling more centered. Because the wheel of life, as life changes, we go through lots of ups and downs sometimes. However, if you can find yourself more centered towards the center of the wheel, you're still going to move forward in life. You're still going to be making progress. But those changes that you encounter in your life will not feel so chaotic because you're just going to be right here. Still having that forward movement as the wheel turns, the wheel of life turns, but much more balanced. So I think that's part of what is happening here. But I'm going to pull one card for mind, one for body, and one for spirit. And then we'll get an oracle card message as well to sum up your reading. So for mind, for body, for spirit. So for your mind, we talked before, which one was it talked? It was this, I think. I opened myself completely to, no, which one was it? There was one that was about getting more in touch with your heart. Oh, it says it here. The head surrenders to the heart. Right. I feel like there is an increased intuition that will take place if your head surrenders more to your heart. Your heart is much more connected to your intuitive knowing than your head is. We need both. We need both to be connected to true vision. Because if we think about where the third eye chakra is located and also the pineal gland, they're located in between, halfway between the left brain and the right brain. So they're drawing upon both. The left brain being more logical and rational, the right brain being more imaginative and intuitive. So we need both. But for you right now, you might be relying a little bit overly on the left brain or the logical way of approaching these changes that you're encountering in your life. And Spirit is saying, connect more to your heart, and then you'll see more clearly why these changes are happening. In terms of body, I think it's about loving your body more. This series here is about you just loving and appreciating your body and understanding that no two people, like I was saying, have the same body. Look at how this angel has her hands clasped over her chest. It's like an act of self-love as well. That bodily posture of putting her hands over her chest helps her as well to connect to self-love. So just another example of how the way that we place our body can align mind, body, and spirit. See, appreciate, these two people's bodies are very different, aren't they? And yet they're both beautiful and wonderful. So for spirit, we have the Five of Pentacles. So I feel like some of the changes you have been experiencing feel very much like hardships. And your guides want you to recognize that these changes don't need to be experienced as hardships to the degree that you are experiencing them that way. It's a matter of perspective. The Five of Pentacles is also about recognizing that we always have more assistance and support here than what we realize. These two women are out in the cold, but here is this warm church that is right here. If they chose to take advantage of that and seek assistance here, assistance would be given. So this card tells us that the changes that we have in our lives that feel so burdensome to us would not be quite as burdensome, A, if we shifted our perspective about it, and then B, if we were more willing to look around us and see how much support and assistance is available to us. Okay, so finally I'm going to wrap up the reading by getting you a card from this deck, the Archangel Metatron deck. I really love this. This was another deck. Actually, all of these decks were wish list gifted to me. This is the Modern Witch Tarot, was also gifted. It was the very first item that I ever got gifted. But I love these Archangel Metatron Oracle messages. They're so eloquent, so helpful. Okay, and yours is family, circles of life. So I'm just going to read it straight from the book. Number 49. Number 49, what you got to tell us? Okay. You are the product of not just those who birth and nurture you. Oh, wait, sorry. I'll read this part. Take a moment to think about those who love and support you in life. Well, we already have a confirmation. You might be forgetting that there are more people who love and support you than what you realize. And this is kind of like hurting your spirit. You might feel kind of down and out right now, and it isn't necessary. Anyway, you are the product of not just those who birth and nurture you, but those you spend time with whom you regard as family. The core of this family should always be strong and able to change and adapt to every movement and flow within it. More synchronicities. Think about spending time with those who have cared for you. The mother who nursed you, the father who watched you grow, the brother who played with you and fought by your side. Within this family, there will be issues, problems, and challenges, as well as times of great joy and celebration. Welcome them all as part of life's rich tapestry. Share the times of happiness and be there for times of heartbreak. Now, I do want to pause for a moment because I think that part of this might be triggering to some of you who didn't have mothers who nursed you or nurtured you, who didn't have fathers who watched you grow, or siblings that you got along with. So, again, I feel like that's why they mentioned in the first paragraph that family means more than just necessarily our biological family. So when you think about the people who you do consider family, welcome them all as part of life's rich tapestry. Share the times of happiness and be there for times of heartbreak. If healing is required in your family, and isn't it required in most families, allow Archangel Metatron's energy to hold all safe, all solid, for the highest outcome of all. Consider whom you are being invited to send healing thoughts or give your physical presence to right now. Maybe an elderly friend or relative whose time is short, or maybe a newborn baby whose hours have only just begun. Or maybe the growing children under your watch who change and mature in the blink of an eye. Enjoy each moment of their childhood before it's too late. Seek, too, knowledge of your family past, your ancestors who went before you. Feel their presence around you, letting you feel their continued interest in you and your life. Reach out to those you have argued with, those you have lost touch with, or those you are estranged from. Whether alive or past, you are an eternal soul living in eternal time. It is never too late to mend bridges, mend what seems damaged beyond repair, and welcome the lost son home or the ailing parent back into the heart space. Within a circle of light, family is sacred, a group of souls who have been called together to learn and grow, even if that learning and growth is very difficult. All aspects of human experience can be found within this circle, and honoring a spiritual path need not be done alone, but within the busyness and day-to-day life of the family unit. Take time today to learn and grow and understand your family, the dynamics within it, the healing that may be needed, the thanks and gratitude that may need expressing, and the love and forgiveness that should be at the heart of your sacred circle. If it is not there, create it. Begin again. Do something today that will enrich the lives of those who come after you and those who are already with you. Be at peace with your past, your present, and your future, all held by Metatron in his loving hands. When Metatron calls you, in truth, he calls all your family line, because Metatron's light reaches out to where it is needed, starting with you and flowing to where it is sent. Circles of light embracing past, present, and future, generation after generation, life after life. All right, so I will leave you with that. I hope that this reading was helpful and meaningful. Let me know if you enjoyed this. This was something different and new. And if you liked having a little yoga routine set up for you with also a little bit of a message at the end, let me know, and I may do this again sometime. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody who chose number 2, which was represented here by the moon. I'll put that over there. Let's see. Now, I did let Spirit choose which cards from this yoga deck came up, but I then arranged them in the way that I would if I were doing this, which is how I use the deck. So I randomly pull cards, but then I arrange them in a way that makes the most sense to me. Let's see here. Is this what I would do? Let's see. Okay. But you can also arrange it. I mean, you can do these in whatever order that you feel would be right. And if there's anything that you feel like you need to skip or would want to skip, of course you can do that as well. So the first one here is just a neck roll. I think that we all know what a neck roll is, so you probably don't need too much guidance in terms of that. But either standing or sitting, you're going to be standing for mountain pose. So if you want to stand, go ahead and stand, do that. I think it does suggest, oh no, it says sit with your back straight. But I mean, you can do a neck roll, standing or sitting. Exhale and drop your head forward, chin toward chest. Slowly roll your right ear over your right shoulder. Hold for a few breaths. Allow the left side of your neck to release. Slowly drop your chin toward your chest and roll your left ear over your left shoulder. Hold, allowing the right side of your neck to release. Repeat once on both sides. Be sure your breath remains steady and your pace slow. So the benefits of this, it lubricates and stretches the neck joints. Yep, we would have expected that. It relieves residual tension in the neck and shoulders. So if you're like me and you hold anxiety in your neck and shoulders, this can be a really good thing to do. It firms the chin and throat. Well, if you have Mitch McConnell neck like I do, then that would be great as well. How wonderful. I should do these more often. A simple and quick tension reducer. Don't worry about popping or gritty noises. They subside with time. Well, definitely don't hurt yourself. If something feels painful, don't continue to do that, of course. But yeah, that's how you do a neck roll. And if you feel like doing it all the way around, I mean, that's what I do. I don't just take it to one side and leave it there. When I'm doing neck rolls, I just roll it all the way around. But yoga is intuitive as well. Listen to what your body wants to do, what feels good to your body in the moment. Pay attention to that. If it feels painful, please don't continue doing that. Gently remove yourself from whatever position is causing you any sort of sharp pain. All right, and then mountain pose. Okay, so this is pretty self-explanatory. Stand erect, legs hip width apart, feet parallel. Contract the muscles at the top of your knees. Tuck your tailbone. Lift your head up and out from your shoulders. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs. Raise your arms overhead, palms facing each other, just like we see here. Relax your shoulders. Stretch from your armpits. Gaze ahead and hold for 10 counts. Release. Let your arms slowly float down to your sides. The affirmation they've included on this for this pose is, my body and mind are grounded and balanced. This will help to align your spine. It provides proper alignment for other standing poses. It corrects posture problems. It restores balance to the body and the mind. So this is wonderful. Now, what I would suggest from mountain pose down into this pose, hold on just a second. Yeah. I would suggest getting down onto the floor by doing a sun salutation, which starts with mountain pose anyway. And that's what I would do. From mountain pose, you go into I think forward fold and then downward dog. If you're not sure what a sun salutation flow is, you can just Google that. There will be plenty of guidance online I'm sure there are videos out there. I'm going to try to find one and link to it below because it's a great way to transition. When I'm using this deck for myself to transition from a standing pose down into the floor poses, that's what I normally do to get down onto the ground. And if you have any familiarity with yoga, you probably already know what that is. But again, I'll link to something down below that I think would be useful for you if you're not sure. Or if you just want to get down on the floor in whatever way feels right to you, that's perfectly acceptable as well. So the next move, and lately my guides have been suggesting this one to me a lot. And it says when you're stretching on the right side, the affirmation is, for all that has been, thanks. And when you stretch on the left side, to all that will be, yes. For all that has been, thanks. To all that will be, yes. So it's a spinal twist pose. And I can't pronounce this, but here is the Sanskrit name for it, if that helps you. But yeah, you're going to be sitting like this with this leg crossed over, holding this leg. Now, my body is shaped in such a way that this pose is a little bit difficult to me, but I feel like, you know, it does really help me with a lot of the stiffness in my legs anyway. So if you're like me, you may not have the flexibility or the body shape that allows you to get into this exactly the way that she is here, and that's okay. All right. But let me just read their instructions here in case that helps you to understand what you're doing. Fold your left leg, cross your right foot over your left thigh at midpoint. Right foot over left thigh at midpoint. Inhale, bring your left arm around the outside of the right knee and grasp the right knee, just like she's doing here. Exhale, rotate your trunk to the right, keep your shoulders level. Raise your right arm up, around and back, placing your palm on the floor. Turn your head, gaze over your right shoulder, hold for 1 minute. And then you're going to release and you're going to repeat on the other side. So here she is. She's got her arms wrapped around her leg here. And then she's going to place her palm down on the side with this leg, the one that's bent up. Your palm is going to be down. You're still going to be using this arm to hold this leg that's bent up, if you can do that. If not, just, modify it in whatever way feels comfortable. Listen to your body. Allow your body to tell you what feels good. And you're just going to be looking to the right, and that allows you to stretch out by looking in that direction. Okay. And some of you might feel like you can rotate even more. If so, the point of this is it's called spinal twist. So if you can twist a little bit further and look even further back over your shoulder, then you can do that. Just, again, pay attention to what works for you. Every person is different, and your body is wonderful as it is, and you don't need to feel bad about your body if it can't do this exactly like this picture, okay? The benefits for this is that it stretches the spine and nerves. It corrects stiffness in the neck. So you guys must have a lot of stiffness in your neck because this is the second one that's for that purpose. It massages your lower abdominal organs and it aids elimination. Have you been feeling a little blocked up lately? Well, if you have been, this will help. If not, thank goodness, because that's not pleasant, is it? All right. So from here, you could just get back onto your back, and I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but they're calling it a knee hug. Lie on your back, bring both knees to your chest, encircle your legs with both arms, and grasp your forearms or wrists. Lightly squeeze your legs, gently roll from side to side, massaging your back. Move your head in the same direction as the roll. For a variation, place your hands on your knees, part your knees slightly, and make slow circles with them, massaging hips and sacrum into the floor. Allow your movements to be slow and lazy. Keep your head on the floor at all times. This stretches the lower back muscles. It massages the entire back restores energy throughout the body, and it gently massages the lower abdominal organs. So it's another pose that is focusing on the lower abdominal muscles. That's a hard word to say. Yeah, so this is another one that, because of the shape of my particular body and the lack of flexibility in my legs, this one's a little bit difficult for me to do. So you can just, again, modify it however you want. I usually would just hold on to my thigh here rather than the top of my leg, because that's easier for me. And, you know, just, and then just rock from side to side. It will feel very good, or it should feel very good. Again, if it doesn't feel good, then please don't continue doing something that feels bad to you. The final pose here is a reclining spinal twist. You've got 2 spinal twists here. So you're really going to get that spine feeling good by the end of this. And this, which I am not going to try to pronounce, is the Sanskrit name. I think that's Sanskrit. But anyway, so yeah, I think you probably know what a spinal twist is, but you're going to kind of start like this, on your back like this, and you're going to drop your legs over to one side with your arms out to either side. You're going to look in the opposite direction of the way that your legs are. And I'll just read their kind of directions for it as well, in case that is more helpful to you than what I said. Lie on your back, bring both knees near your chest, keeping knees together if you can. If you're like me and that's difficult, don't worry about it. Extend your arms out to your sides in a T position. Roll your legs and hips to the left, touching the floor. Right foot on left foot, right knee on top of left knee. If your back arches, move your knees closer to your ribs. Turn your palms up and angle your arms into a V shape. Slowly turn your head to the right, away from your knees. Allow your back to relax. Hold for 1 to 2 minutes. Slowly roll legs back to center and repeat on the other side. The affirmation for this is, I am centered, I am relaxed, I am at peace. Benefits: it calms the mind and nervous system, it relieves headaches, cleanses digestive and elimination systems. Lots of that. Some of you might be having some digestive issues, so. And if not, it's fine. There are going to be plenty of benefits other than just that. And it balances the flow of energy. And they have a note here to hold a pillow between your knees if it is difficult to keep them together. So that's a nice little recommendation there. All right. So let's see. I'm going to use some tarot as well to see why your guides led you to this particular series of postures. How is this going to benefit you in mind? How is it going to benefit you in body? And how is it going to benefit you in spirit? I have a third card just wanting to come up, so I'll just take it as an overall card. And the moon card that you chose is going to be an overall card as well. So what this tells me is that right now you are experiencing some very intense emotions, maybe a lot of emotional changes, emotional ups and downs. It could be that it is the darker emotions, the more shadowy emotions in particular that you're dealing with, such as sadness, anxiety, fear is a strong emotion associated with the moon card. You could be going through a time when you are really having to face your shadow and incorporate that more. And this series here is meant to sort of help you adjust to all of that. So for mind, we have the King of Pentacles. So how does this benefit your mind? I feel like it is allowing you to feel more grounded, more safe and secure. It's helping you to feel that you still have stability while also being flexible with what is coming to you in life. You know, you feel firmly, allowing yourself to feel safely and firmly supported by life so that you can handle these emotional changes that you're going through. In terms of body, we have the Queen of Cups. And the Ten of Pentacles here is an overall card as well. It could be that this series is meant to assist with fluids within your body. So maybe there's some sort of fluid imbalance. It could be, especially if you're having digestive issues and you're blocked up, it could be that you're dehydrated, and that could be sort of causing that. But I feel like it's sort of like these movements are helping you to connect body and mind. Mind, body, yeah. So that your emotions feel more calm and relaxed. Because I feel like you're going through a period where your emotions are a bit more turbulent. And this is helping you to calm your mind and your emotions. There's definitely a strong theme here of feeling like you're safe and supported over the long haul. So you might be kind of worried about the future, not feeling that your future is safe. And this is meant to help you sort of adjust yourself so you feel better about that as well. In terms of spirit, I think that this series of movements is somehow making you feel more connected to other people. And I'm going to need a little bit of help because, again, you know, if you listen to the intro, I talked about this some, but I feel like our spirit guides understand these connections between mind, body, and spirit so much more than we do. So how could this help someone feel more connected to other people? There's something about this that helps you understand your relationships to other people better. And again, maybe it's hard for our human brains to kind of wrap our minds around that. But something about exploring what our bodies can do allows you to feel a greater sense of belonging in some way. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes it just may not make sense. Sometimes what our guides tell us just doesn't make sense because we don't have the capacity to really understand those connections the way that they do. But I'm going to pull a final message for you here as well from this Archangel Metatron Oracle deck, and maybe this will shed some light on it. And it is, as above, so below, heaven and earth. Another thing is we don't have to intellectually understand how these could help us have a greater sense of belonging for it to bring us that greater sense of belonging. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to understand it in order for it to be true. All right. Like, you don't have to understand how a television works in order to turn it on, right? All right. Heaven and earth. You are reminded that the rewards of heaven are accessible to you now here on earth. Oh, I love the heaven on earth philosophy. It is my view of life. It is my view of what we're doing in this process of ascension. So let's see what the full message is here. You do not have to wait for an imaginary place and state of plenty and peace, a heaven that is out of reach and inaccessible. Heaven can be here today, as can all the glories of the beauty of God available in each waking moment. Look at the symmetry of the majestic blossoming tree reflected in the water. It shows that all is the same, both above and below. We realize this when we stop to pause and consider all that we came from, all that we are, and all that we will become. So maybe this is about a sense of belonging, not just with other people, but just kind of like a sense of belonging with the whole, with the all that is, with the source. The cycle of life and the sacred wheel show us there is no beginning and no end. Likewise, there is no place outside ourselves. It's all connected, all joined, all one. A sense of belonging. Thank you, Archangel Metatron. The soft, luscious colors of the tree and its bountiful riches speak to our heart of the jewels of heaven, which are free to all, not needing to be earned or worked toward. This represents our natural state of abundance and joy, our eternal birthright, always. Overladen with petals, the flowering branches reaching out and extending down to the earth offer enough for everyone. It's just waiting to be noticed, appreciated, and absorbed. Heaven is here, it says. Look at this exquisite splendor and see it reflected not just in the waters of the lake, but within yourself. For you hold all this treasure within you, beauty, light, love, grace, and wonder. For you hold all this treasure within you. You are but a reflection of the divine. It can be no other way. You are a mirror image of that from which you came and to where you will return. The principle as above, so below is also important for you right now. Be aware of the need to honor both your divine and earthly states, and do not neglect your own physical self at the expense of the spiritual or vice versa. The body's needs, good food, enough rest, time to relax, are just as important as the desire to expand intuition, learn more, meditate, and so on. It may also be that you need to balance planting your own roots firmly and deeply, nourishing what is below, with allowing what is above to flower and thrive and be sustained. Spiritual growth requires both opening up to higher states and grounding yourself. Otherwise, anything gained is temporary, fleeting, and unbalanced. Pulling this card implies that attention to this is required now. You are also encouraged to take that which is learned and acquired and bring it to the everyday, whether you be a healer, teacher, shop worker, or engineer, to walk your light, plant it, and be both the bridge between heaven and earth. For you are truly the embodiment of both. Earth is your home, and heaven is here with us. Look and seek, and you will find it and be it. So yeah, that makes sense with some of these earthy cards that we have here, the King of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, especially. Maybe you're having a fear that your abundance needs are not being met, or that they won't be met in the future. And, you know, you're just being reminded here that you are safe and that your needs are always met in every moment. It's just a process of recognizing that, moving past, letting go of the fear and recognizing what is the safety and security that is already available to you. And doing this series of yoga movements could sort of create an energetic trigger within you that helps you to move past that fear a little bit more. And also gives you this sense of belonging with the whole, the all that is, that additionally allows you to release some of those fears of lack. All right, so, and that could be lack of financial security or emotional security, or maybe for you, all of the above. So you deserve to be experiencing the fullness of love and the fullness of security rather than the lack. And that's what your guides would hope for you to align with. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this. This was a very different type of a reading, but if you enjoyed having a little mini yoga routine, I can definitely do this again. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Hello to everybody who chose reading number 3, which was represented by the Empress card. I'm just going to put this over here for now. All right, so I let Spirit select the cards that are coming up here, but the way that I use this deck for myself is I will do that. You know, I'll pull cards just like I would from a tarot or oracle deck, and then I will arrange them in the order that makes the most sense to me in terms of transitioning from one posture to the next. So this is how I would arrange these, but I think that you can arrange them in whatever order you want as well. I also say that for me to get down into child's pose, what I would do is I would do a sun salutation flow to get down from standing down to the ground. And if you're familiar at all with yoga, you probably know what that is. If you're not, I will find a really handy demonstration of that somewhere on the YouTube, and I'll post that below in the description because it is a very useful way to transition from standing down to the ground for these floor poses. And all three, obviously, of what you chose ended up being floor poses. And then at the end, you have a heart meditation. I would place this at the end after you're done with this little mini routine. But maybe you want to do it at the beginning instead, or maybe you don't want to do it at all. So do what feels right for you. And at the end of this, I'm going to go through and explain each of these. But at the end of this, we're also going to be pulling some cards and seeing what your guides have to say to you about how this series of poses could assist you in supporting mind, body, and spirit. And then we'll get a final little oracle message from the Archangel Metatron deck. So the first move here is Child's Pose. Like I said, if this were me, I would do a sun salutation to take myself down into Child's Pose. I'll also say, you know, every person's body shape, flexibility, balance, etc. is a little bit different. And so, you know, this might be what Child's Pose looks like to you. For me, I don't normally do it this way. I've tried it and it feels uncomfortable for me. I usually have my hands out in front of me on the floor, stretched out in front of me. But you can do whatever feels right to you. Maybe you would want to do it like this and put a pillow under your head. You know, make the adjustments that feel good. Pay attention to your body. Your body is very intuitive. It will let you know what feels good and right to it. Okay, so this as well, if you want to explore more information on how to do this pose, this is the Sanskrit name for it. And it says, kneel, thighs on calves with legs slightly apart. Bend from the hips forward and down, folding your upper body onto your knees. The forehead rests on the floor. Place the arms next to your legs, palms up, or extend your arms on the floor beyond your head, palms down, which is what I normally do, extending them in front of me with my palms down. Breathe deeply and relax. Raise your upper body and return to a seated position when you're done with this. They have included an affirmation for a lot of these, and this one is, the universe protects and nurtures me. I am secure and loved. So this movement rejuvenates the body. It completely refreshes the back and spine. It massages the inner organs, and it promotes a sense of security and nurturing. Right, so from this, when you're done in Child's Pose and you feel like you're done with that, you can move on to your butt and get into this next move, which is called Sitting Forward Bend. Again, that's the other name for it. And so it says, sit erect, legs straight, pelvis tipped forward, feet perpendicular to legs. Meaning your feet, your toes are pointing up and your legs are pointing this way. Inhale, raise your arms straight ahead. Exhale, stretch forward and down. Keep your back straight. So you can't see this part of it in the illustration, but you're going to start with your arms up when you inhale, and then when you exhale, you're going to reach forward into this position that she's in right there. And, you know, if your flexibility or your body shape gets in the way of you bending forward as fully as she does, that's okay. Remember, every person's body is different, and any yoga posture can be adapted to what works for your particular body. Place hands comfortably under your legs, whether under your knees, calves, or ankles. Relax, allowing your chest to sink towards your thighs without arching your back. Look forward and out. Breathe softly, no straining. And the affirmation here is, I let go into the eternal now. Benefits, it gives an intense stretch to the entire back. It massages the abdominal organs. It increases flexibility of the spine, and it fosters a sense of calm and letting go. All right. So when you feel that you have done enough in this posture here, you can move into bow pose. And if you listen to the intro, this yoga pose, it was part of the inspiration for me doing this reading, because it's a pose that my guides suggested to me once to do before I sent off an important message to someone. Okay, so bow pose. So lie on your stomach, bend your knees, bringing your feet towards your buttocks. Reach back and grasp your ankles. One at a time is fine. So again, this might be a difficult position, a difficult one to do for some people. So just do what feels right to you. If you have a yoga strap and you're having trouble reaching your legs or your ankles here to grab them, or a towel, you might be able to use those to assist you. Or if you have another human being nearby who can assist you, I've done that before. Then you'll grab your ankles, and then once you've grabbed them, you're basically going to pull your chest up and also pull your legs up at the same time, as much as you possibly can. You know, again, everybody is different, and for some people, this is going to be outside of your capabilities, and that is okay. Okay, so if you need to grab your ankles one at a time, it says that is fine. You know, just do what you can do. Inhale and slowly raise your head, feet, and knees. Gently rock back and forth without pulling or straining. Breathe. Hold for 30 to 60 seconds. Exhale. Release your hands. Slowly lower and straighten your legs. And then it suggests relaxing back into child's pose, and you already know how to do that, which is a good counterbalance to this. And the affirmation they have here is, I am the essence of strength and confidence. Benefits. It massages the abdominal organs and improves digestion, stimulates the thyroid and opens the chest, strengthens the back, tones the thighs and buttocks. And it just says again, note, if raising both legs is difficult, try one leg at a time. So you could do that as well. You know, just do this on one side with one leg first, and then the other, if that's what is more possible to you. If you can't reach your ankles at all, just see if you can kind of like lift your legs up and lift your head up at the same time, even if you're not grasping onto your ankles. You might be able to do that. So that's bow pose. And then the final thing for you here is a meditation, and it's a heart meditation. Sit comfortably with your eyes closed. Bring your thumbs and forefingers together to form a triangle over your heart center. Exhale. Inhale through your nose for a count of 8, or whatever feels comfortable to you. Exhale fully through your mouth. Repeat that breath cycle for several rounds. Lower your hands to your sides and ask yourself the question, if my heart were planted, what would it grow? Sit with the question for a while. Breathe deeply as you visualize an answer or an image. Focus on the visualization and continue to breathe. Benefits of this, it slows the mind. It reduces blood pressure and heart rate. It calms the entire being. It promotes peace and serenity. And it brings you back to the present. All right, so I'm going to pull one card each for mind, body, and spirit to see what your guides think that how your guides feel that doing these would assist you in mind, in body. Lots of fiery energy here. And in spirit. So confidence, yeah. I mean, strength and confidence. I think it was Bow Pose that talked about, I am the essence of strength and confidence. So definitely it will make you feel more confident. Your mental outset will be that you'll have more faith in your abilities. You'll feel like you can be more successful. In terms of body, you're going to be very proud of yourself for what you can do with your body, that maybe you can do more than what you think. You know, maybe you can stretch forward further than what you think you can. Or maybe you can do more with bow pose than what you first thought. So it's going to build confidence in many ways. Confidence about your ability to take control of your life, go after your goals and your ambitions, but also just confident in your own physical bodily capabilities. And in terms of spirit, it helps you to understand some things that have been confusing to you. And that's funny because I think that's why bow pose was suggested to me a couple of years ago. Because I felt confused by the situation that I was reaching out to someone to communicate about. And it gave me more clarity. So spiritually, this is meant to bring you clarity as well. Now we're going to end this reading with an oracle card from Archangel Metatron. And this may also help to bring some clarity, this message. So Metatron, let this viewer know what they need. I feel like, so that we'll take that, but I feel like it was this one that I actually need to read from. So this is about self-love, pink, self-love and nurture. I'm not going to read all of this, but it's kind of reminding you that surrounding yourself with the color pink can also make you feel more loved and loving. So align you with just this feeling of love and being nurtured. And the concept of being nurtured came up a couple of times. It came up in talking about child's pose, and I feel like it came up somewhere else. Well, anyway, it definitely came up with child's pose about feeling nurtured. So yeah, so maybe surrounding yourself with the color pink could be helpful to you. Even, you know, you don't have to go out and buy pink things. You can also just, you know, the internet is such a wonderful tool. Look up beautiful pink imagery to gaze upon and allow that to help shift you, mind, body, and spirit. All right, let me read this, though. It is signs, and it says, from Spirit with love. Okay. Look around you for the signs from above. They are everywhere if you just stop to notice and acknowledge them today. The angel feathers that appear at just the right time in unexpected places, the words of a song that resonate with what you prayed about last night. Signs are everywhere and come in many shapes and forms. So often you expect the big gesture, the booming voice in your ear, the crystal clear image in your third eye, or the answer landing at your feet. But angel signs are often softer. Archangel Metatron embodies many ways to make his presence known to you, and you are encouraged to open up to them at this time, to the clairsentient feeling of his presence, the warmth or heat that overcomes you, the colors that you increasingly notice in new ways, the tingles in your body, or the voice of Metatron speaking to you, maybe via a friend, associate, or loved one. Nature, too, holds many signs. Maybe you have seen a robin who comes to visit, reminding you of a loved one who has passed. Be aware also of power animals and the creatures that appear time and time again to bring your attention to a quality they embody. Metatron often speaks through animal symbolism, as well as flowers and many other signs. Numbers are also important signs. Maybe you have been seeing recurring ones: 1111, 2222, 303, 444, 555. Why didn't they say 333? Anyway, but it could be maybe you're seeing 303 all over the place. Who knows? Numbers that keep reappearing trigger us to realize this is more than just mere coincidence. This is a sign from our subconscious waking us up, letting us know we are not alone, that a loving force watches over us. You are drawing this card today because you have asked for a sign, and probably you're seeking clarity. You've asked for a sign, and here it is. A sign that angelic light is with you, that your prayers and requests have been heard and are being worked on, and that all is well. You are reassured that every time you talk to Metatron, he listens. There will be times when you hear him clearly and times when you feel him more absent, but he is always there. Remember, too, that sometimes angels have to step back if there is something we have to do alone, a lesson to be learned or a test to overcome. But you are never abandoned. He is always with you. Think today about signs you have already received and ask Metatron for a special sign between the two of you that will make you know he is there. This is likely to be personal to you. Persevere, tune in, communicate, and listen. Signs are all around. Open up all your senses to experience them. And I know this talks a lot specifically about Archangel Metatron because that's the name of the deck, the Archangel Metatron Oracle, but, you know, you can substitute that for any angel or spirit guide or divine presence that you want to feel more connected with. I mean, you probably already understood that, but just in case. All right, so I really hope that this was helpful. Let me know what you thought about this, because of course it was a very different type of reading. And if you enjoyed this, it might be something that I do again in the future. If not, I'll continue to use this deck for myself because I really like this. I find it so useful. All right, so thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, welcome to all of my daredevils who chose the death card number 4. Let's see what you got here. This might actually be the easiest of all of them. Yeah, this is ironic. Well, that's so funny. Corpse pose showed up for the death card. That's kind of funny. And then we have a meditation card and Om. So what I usually do when I'm using this deck is I randomly draw the cards and let Spirit decide what cards need to come out for me, just like I would with tarot or an oracle deck, and then I will arrange them in a way that works for me. So I would, suggest this is maybe the way that I would do it. Start out with Om, and then do these 2 poses, and then do this meditation at the end while I'm in Shavasana or corpse pose, which is what's pictured here. But you might want to do it differently. You might want to start with the meditation of intent and do Om at the end when you're in Shavasana. Either way is fine, but I'm going to go through each of these. Generally in yoga, Shavasana would be what you would end with regardless, so that's going to be the final posture. But hey, if you want to start with Shavasana, you be your rebellious self. But let's look here at meditation of intent. Now this one to me, I will say is a little bit of difficult. I draw this card, I've drawn it a few times, and I find it a little bit difficult to keep each of these thoughts in my mind as I'm going through it, but you might be better at that than I am. Anyway, it says, this meditation combines 3 intentions to develop a strong and supple body, a clear mind, and a spirit filled equally with power, love, and wisdom. So sit comfortably, close your eyes, inhale and repeat silently, my body is strong and supple. Exhale and repeat silently, my mind is clear. Inhale, my spirit is filled with power, love, and wisdom. Exhale, all in equal measure. Breathe and feel the intention, fill your entire being. You might even want to either do this before or during this. It says to sit comfortably to do this, but you can also just go ahead and get on the ground and do it from there if that's what feels more comfortable. But again, the expression is, my body is strong and supple. My mind is clear. My spirit is filled with power, love, and wisdom, all in equal measure. What you could also do here, and what I sometimes do, again, because I have trouble remembering all of these as I'm, got my eyes closed, trying to be meditative, come up with your own phrases. When you're inhaling, think about my body, whatever comes to mind. Body, mind, spirit. So just come up with your own little saying associated with each of those, mind, body, and spirit. Or whatever comes to mind that you want to align with as you're doing this. So breathe and feel the intention, fill your entire being. Benefits, it slows the mind, it reduces blood pressure and heart rate, calms the entire being, promotes peace and serenity, brings you back to the present. So basically the benefits of any meditative activity. So the first yoga pose here is spider. And this is the Sanskrit word for it. I've tried to Google this with that name, spider pose, and I didn't really find anything. So maybe I'll try sometime Googling it with that name instead. But you're going to lie on your back, legs straight. Bring your right knee to your chest. Place your left hand firmly on your left thigh. Wrap thumb and forefinger of your right hand around the big toe of your right foot. Inhale, then exhale and slowly raise your head. Look down at your left foot. Straighten your right knee as much as possible and bring it as close to your nose as you comfortably can. Keep your left leg on the floor, heel extended. Hold for up to 20 seconds and then slowly lower your right leg and repeat on the other side. So basically you're pulling your knee up, you're holding it there, then you're going to grab onto your toe and you're going to lift your leg straight like this or as straight as you can. You know, do what your body is comfortably capable of doing. And then you're going to lift your head and kind of look down the length of your body towards your other toe as you're doing that. So I think it's pretty straightforward here in their diagram of what you're doing. And then, of course, you're going to do it on the other side. So you'll bend the left leg up, hold it like that with the right leg extended, etc. So, and they have an affirmation on each of these, and it says, I acknowledge my ability to regenerate. Benefits. It gives an intense stretch to the back of the neck, the thigh muscles, and the Achilles tendon. It relieves sciatica, massages the hips, and it helps with circulation and toning. So if you cannot do this completely, then that's fine. Do what's possible. Maybe this is as far as you can go. Maybe this part of it is too difficult, or maybe your leg will still need to, maybe your knee will still need to be a little bit bent for you instead of it being totally straight. Maybe you can't raise your head up. You know, work with what your body feels good doing. Your body is very intuitive. It will tell you what it needs and what feels right to it. So pay attention to that. If something hurts, you know, you're going to feel like muscle stretching. That's one thing. But if it actually is painful, then you want to gently maneuver out of whatever position it is that you're in that's causing that pain. So whenever you're done with this, you'll just maneuver very easily into corpse pose, which is basically lying on your back like this with your hands out, palms upward, or in whatever position feels right to you. An alternate thing would be to put a pillow or a rolled up blanket or something underneath your knees. I'll sometimes put something underneath my head or neck. Just do what feels good to you. You're basically just lying there. There's not a lot to corpse pose, also called Shavasana. So lie flat on your back. Keep your legs about 1 foot apart. If the small of your back is not flat on the floor, place a bolster or rolled blanket under your knees. Keep your arms by your sides, palms up. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply and relax. The affirmation is, my body is rested, my mind is calm, my heart is at peace, my spirit soars. Benefits. Used between postures, this resting place allows the body and mind to absorb the benefits of the previous pose. From this center of rest and relaxation, you will be well equipped to face the day. It says, note, the corpse is an excellent pose from which to perform either the complete breath or the sounding breath. So you could do any sort of breath technique here. But we had Om coming up. And so while you're here in Shavasana or corpse pose, you could practice Om. Or if you wanted to do this meditation here instead, you know, or something else entirely. Om has several meanings. It is the sound of all sounds, the sound of the universe, the sound of creation, and the beginning of life. Om contains 4 separate parts. Ah, O, and then silence. Sit comfortably with your back straight, or lay comfortably with your back straight. Inhale. On the exhalation, begin chanting Om. Remember the 4 distinct parts. Pause, inhale and exhale, and then chant Om twice more. Or I would say chant it as often as it feels good for you. The affirmation here is, I am part of life's joyful sound. Om. Just feels good to do. All right, so the benefits of this, the same as what basically any meditation or anything would be. Releases tension and dispels negative energy. Promotes a feeling of total peace. Releases powerful spiritual vibrations. Fills the entire self with luminous energy. Okay, it's not quite the same as what was listed here. But yeah, that sounds nice. Fills the entire self with luminous energy. All right. So I'm also going to pull a tarot card to represent mind, body, and spirit so that your guides can tell you. Did that one want to come out for some reason? So your guides can kind of tell you how this is meant to help you in mind, in body, and in spirit. I'm going to take this as sort of an overarching card. I have another card wanting to come out as well. Your guides have a lot to say. And of course, the Death card I'm going to take into account as well. You know, the Death card is just about kind of letting go and surrendering to transformative changes that are happening within us and without us. Because changes can be both internal and external. But, you know, we're all going through a tremendous process of change right now in the world, and you might have particular changes happening in your personal life that are unique to you. And the Death process, it's profound transformation. And I see this actually as a very positive card because I associate it a lot with, for example, the symbolism of a caterpillar entering the cocoon, which is a symbolic death. It's like entering into a coffin as that corpse, and a part of you is dying, a part of you is passing away. You are completely transformed, but what happens from that ending, or that apparent ending, is that you are reborn into this new life as the butterfly. And so when we can surrender to change and understand the beauty of the transformative power of change, we see that there can be a blessing that comes from this. And with these two coming up as sort of overarching cards, I feel like you're feeling rather burdened by life right now. So there might be certain burdens that you're experiencing, changes that are very burdensome, and you're having a lot of trouble with those. It feels exhausting. And maybe that's why you had such a restful, couple of postures here, is because, God, you just need to relax. Just take some breaths and just relax, And I also feel like you've been trying to seek for guidance as well. And this is going to connect you more spiritually so that you feel more connected through your crown chakra to that guidance, which is always there and always there to assist you, always available. So in terms of mind, this is meant to clear your mind. In terms of body, it's meant to give you endurance. So I do feel like that rest and relaxation. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving card in the deck, but this is also a very industrious card. This is a hard worker. This is someone who accomplishes a lot, but it's someone who recognizes that sometimes being productive means we need to slow the heck down and just take a fucking time out and relax. Take some breaths. Get into corpse pose. Do some Om. So it's slowing you down. And that's assisting you in mind, body, and spirit. That slowing down and clearing of the mind allows you to have greater insight and clarity about how to move forward in your life with optimism, so that these changes you're experiencing don't seem so much like burdens, but you can start to see them actually as opportunities. And when you are capable of adjusting your perspective that way, then you'll have a clearer vision about how to move forward joyfully with happiness and positivity and optimism, rather than fearing these changes that are taking place. So I'm going to sum up this reading for you with a card from this Archangel Metatron Oracle deck. So the guides of the folks who chose number 4, what do they need to hear? Dimensional Gateway and Invitation. Number 33, which is a master number. For some reason, Christ consciousness came into my head here. All right, master number 33 is linked to crystalline light and higher powers. So, yeah, no wonder you're being asked to chant Om, to be connected to all of that beautiful energy that is already within you. Drawing this card shows that you are standing at an important place and time on your path of destiny, one that has been created by your own past positive actions, behavior, and thoughts. You have done much good already, helped many, and supported those who needed it. And this is acknowledged now. Archangel Metatron offers you a gateway to a new way of being. He is a gatekeeper to many beings of light and ascended masters who appear when called by him. One of the names he is known by is the Grand Orchestrator, and he is able to call on any energy needed by anyone at any time, and does so for you now. He has sent one of his angels of light to greet and welcome you, their arms outstretched and hearts open to receive you and guide you in. See the light all around this special place, blazing gold and containing wisdom, love, and enlightened space. Step into the gateway and feel the warmth from the flaming torches that purify and cleanse you, ready for your next step. I would say also preparing you for your next step. Entering this gate enables you to access all the angelic kingdom that Metatron governs. This is his door and his domain, and it feels like home to you now. You are welcome to come and shelter here a while, to rest and recharge before journeying on. Through this gateway you will find the other end of the rainbow, a pearlescent light with colors so bright your body can only bathe in their wonder, and a host of archangels and angels at Metatron's command, each as important as the other. Here exists no hierarchy, just service to the oneness and energy of love that is all there is. Step forward and reclaim your own angelic magnificence, your angel wings bestowed and your body activated by light. Then go, do, be, and serve others. Help, support, and teach those who need this energy right now in your communities, country, and world. Metatron has called you. His angels await. You are one of his earth angels now. Step through the golden gateway of light and into your own mastery. The time is now, and you are invited. When you leave this place, you do so able to carry more light and love than ever before back to your homes, communities, and the world that needs it. The gateway is in front of you. Step through it now. So wow, like I do really feel like resting and recharging, rejuvenating, connecting more to that light. Even this card, it says, chanting Om fills the entire self with luminous energy. Luminous. Yeah, you need to rest and recharge and sort of replenish your light. I feel like you're someone who wants to be of service and you've been of service, but that process of doing that has sort of depleted you, and you're being prepared. You're, being asked to go through this death process, and just resting and relaxing allows that transformative process to take place so that you can then reemerge with this rebirth aspect of the death transformation, so that you're new and fresh and you have, that you're rejuvenated so that you can continue to be of service in all of these wonderful ways that you have been and that you will be. So that was a really beautiful message, folks who chose number 4. I want to thank you so much for watching this reading. I really hope that you found this enjoyable. It was something a little bit different, of course, so let me know how you felt about that. And if enough people really liked this, then I think I'll do it again, even if it doesn't get a lot of views. And I kind of have a feeling that it might not, but who knows. But either way, if the people who do watch it are enjoying it and getting something meaningful, then I definitely will want to do this again at some point, because I know that I get so much enjoyment out of using this deck. And so I like to be able to share that with anyone else who would like to benefit from, just doing a little bit more self-care and just a little bit of yoga here and there. So, all right, thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.